What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor. We're going to be looking at the following week of April 13th. So this is, markets are currently closed here on Friday due to the observing of Good Friday and Easter weekend. But when we come back, we got a pretty packed week. We have earnings week starting out, and the first cohort of stocks are usually the banks. So you see a lot of JP Morgan's, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citi, Goldman Sachs, PNC, BlackRock, a couple other names, KeyBank, and things like that. US Bank Corp will fall into this particular week. Some of the bigger names we're going to be looking at is going to be look at JP Morgan, Johnson & Johnson. We're going to look at Delta because it's Warren Buffett sold a boatload of that stuff. We could probably look at Bed Bath & Beyond actually too. We'll look at Bank of America because they're actually doing one of the better jobs on doing the payroll processing from the government stimulus package for small businesses. And then on Thursday, I got nothing on Rite Aid. Like anything out of here, I didn't even know Lovesac was a publicly traded company. Take a look at that. And then Schlumberger is, oil markets are a complete mess right now, and I don't know, they're the refinery, so they don't actually take any oil out of the ground. They're the ones who process it, cleans it, and turns it into the right oil for your car or the right oil for making tires or whatever. They're the ones who refine the oil. And since everyone's at home, no one's driving anywhere, and nothing's being really manufactured, I have a feeling that they're projecting that their dividend might be cut. And the thing is going to be about all these different scenarios and all these different companies of the guidance going forward is just going to be kind of, no one knows. Like no one knows how they will perform 3 or 4 months from now, depending on if the lockdown continues. So they have to kind of give you like the worst case and then like the best case scenario. So I wonder if companies will be very forthcoming going into that. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll switch over to the charts and we'll get started with some of the stocks that are opening up on Tuesday. All right, let's go ahead and kick on the earnings season. Basically, this is going to be before the market hour, so this is going to report before 9:30 on Tuesday, which is JP Morgan and Johnson & Johnson, Wells Fargo, and a couple of smaller banks, communal regional banks. But we're going to look at JP Morgan. As you know, that Jamie Dimon is still in recovery from a heart surgery, but he's doing well and recovering. But he's still out and about, and I don't think he's going to be on the conference call. That being said, we have seen somewhat of a really strong reversal here, almost like a W. Some might call it a very tight, more wider V. I call it more of a W, potentially pushing it up higher. I want to see at what retracement this is on the Fibonacci spectrum. Yeah, it's not at the 50% retracement yet. The S&P 500 has just barely above, I think a tick above the 50% retracement, so this is still lagging the S&P 500 as a whole. But a bank moving nearly 8% in a day. This is again on Thursday. These are all coming out on next week. This is quite of a big phenomenon. This is again due a lot to the JPAL, and I can link that video down below on the printing press of the Federal Reserve, basically putting another $2.3 trillion into the market. So JP Morgan, let's just go ahead and jump to JNJ, and we have those guys right here. So a lot of people are predicting and saying that J&J has the right formula to calculate and maintain and create the vaccine within a allotted time frame of 18 months. I don't know anything medical, but this has been performing substantially better to anything else that I basically own a lot of the portfolios, because you can see on the daily chart it's still above its 200-day. Majority of stocks are 20-30% way below its 200-day moving average. All the moving averages are trying to come up for air. The overall 200 again closing above the 200, did close down the following day, which is okay. There's some key levels here we want to look at. I want to look at basically it holding the 135. So even though with earnings coming out, this is pre-Tuesday, I want it to hold that 135. So I'm going to actually create an alert there, and I do not want it to go below that. And of course, I want it to go above the 143. So this is, I want to kind of keep this in a very tight range. Again, keeping it above the 200. Hopefully we get some great news from them that they made some kind of progress on something on the overall COVID cases. But it pays a great dividend. I think the dividend's safe for the most part if you're into that. But this stock just looks great, and it's been a long-term hold for our overall portfolio. I think that basically rounds up Tuesday for me, from my standpoint. And then we have another big round coming in on Wednesday. You got your boy Warren Buffett a couple days ago selling millions of shares in Delta at the very lows that they just bought a month ago. So this is just strange. They're just probably cutting to raise cash to be able to buy and purchase companies that have a greater return than the airlines. Airlines are going to be getting a bailout. I don't know the complete understanding of how, if the stock is going to be basically squeezed in the sense of some equity is going to be taken out from it. The government's going to own a part of it. I don't know the ins and outs of that. But that being said, is the airlines are just going to be pounded around for a little bit. I think if it gets back down to 20, I think I'm going to probably add a little bit more. I made a previous video about a week ago. I added around 23 or 24, so I'm slightly up on the position right now. I would love for it to get above the 28. I want to see on exactly what they say on their earnings call, like how bad are the numbers. Like, this is going to be one of the big major airlines already, first one that's going to be basically reporting outside in earnings, and moving forward and seeing on what this could play on other airline stocks that are going to be reporting in the next coming weeks. And then we're going to jump right back into the banking sector, which is at Bank of America, and this thing has been performing fairly well. We did trade this with some options on just selling some puts, and those just really came in with money in the last 3 or 4 days, and we actually rolled some of them, and then we got out of quite a few of them. But this looks very great action here. We're looking at it trying to break the 25.42 level here. Again, we want to stay above the $22 price range. Again, the earnings coming up as a coin flip. We're just going to basically, hopefully they give us great news. A lot of the stuff with the stimulus packages for the small businesses and the overall payroll taxes that will be going from that. I'm trying to be more optimistic here, but again, anything can happen in the market. I don't have a crystal ball. You don't have a crystal ball. Want to kind of look at this at a little bit more detailed thing, because a lot of people do trade this. The squeeze is looking great. Like, it's looking, but it's about a pop. So, meaning it could pop into earnings, it could pop before it. Again, this reports on Wednesday before the bell. So you would have to get in your trades or options previously on the Tuesday before the close. Looking on a longer time frame, this thing has been really beaten down, got down to the level of basically where it was trading in like mid 16. I think Bank of America's not going anywhere. It's still below its 200 on the daily and on the weekly. Never a really great sign. Momentum is starting to switch. Chaikin money flow is going to hopefully go positive in the next coming week or so. So I'm keeping an eye on that one, maybe selling some more puts on those to see it bounce. And the other one we wanted to look at is Bed Bath & Beyond. So this is reports after the close on Wednesday, and this thing has just been beaten up. Like, basically, it didn't do well even last year. Was trading well below its 200-day. Again, the big season for Bed Bath & Beyond is after the summer, and this is the fall winter holiday season, and you can kind of see that really shown very brightly and just very positively here. Basically, since even before the COVID stuff was taking off, hitting some bad quarters, kind of hitting a bounce back, still losing money even on the holiday season, which is kind of sad, I guess. But looking to bounce around a little bit, then gapping down tremendously. Again, this could have been the COVID stuff. You just never know. but gapping down huge and just has been falling ever since. Kind of bounced, I'm not going to say leveled off, bounced at $3.43 and then closed below the 21 on the daily. So if we pop this to the weekly here, we can look at it a little bit more detail. Momentum is still pushing down. It looks like a slight maybe dead cat bounce, and I don't have the world's greatest insight of what's going to happen at the quarter. I don't want to flip the coin on this one. This is a $5 stock, so you go at it. Like you can just see the overall trend basically since 15 has just been down, and it has not really got really far above the 21 moving average, the 21 exponential moving average since then. So if it ever gets up to $10, I might have to sell some calls or buy some puts on that guy. So that basically wraps up Wednesday for me. We're going to be jumping into Thursday, and the only one on Thursday that both jump out at me. First of all, Lovesac. Didn't know this traded on the public markets. Like, I sat on one of their couches at one of their stores at a mall like a year ago, and I was like, these are really nice couches, but the prices are crazy. They're really expensive. But this is basically looks like Bed Bath & Beyond, like has not gone above the 21 and stayed above it for an extended period of time. Still trading lower. This might be a potential short. I don't know how many people are buying Lovesac's. Maybe they are. I don't know. Again, this is a coin flip. We're looking at a $5 stock. Potentially could bounce higher because people are staying home more. But I think the overall economy is just so stretched, and people are really just saving a lot of money and just not going out and spending things. And this is kind of a spending item. So we'll see what happens there. I'm just going to keep an eye on it and just watch it, and we'll just go from there. ISRG is also after the close on Thursday. This is a fantastic surgical device company. They have this really top of the line technology grade tools for surgeons to be able to do minimal damage to your human body when they're doing a knee replacement or going into your bladder or anything like that. They have some of these fantastic surgical devices, but the thing is a lot of these surgical stuff has been put on hold due to the overall COVID-19, and you basically saw that huge sell-off here because of that, getting down to 360 and 50 cents there, kind of making a small bounce back here. Basically, let's see if this bounces back to the 50% retracement, because this is something that I would like to hold longer term, because these guys are just fantastic. Did not close above the 618, which is the basically 500 519.99, let's call it 520. Did not get above that, still trading in between these ranges. I wanted to stay it above this particular let's see here. We wanted above the 50% retracement, which is going to be, just call it 490, and we want it to break above the 520 here. So we're going to create another alert here, and we're just going to keep these little lines away to kind of make things a little bit more simpler. You can just see on long term, this thing has just been gangbusters. Even in 0809 traded well below its 200, and then basically had a huge surge once it kind of leveled off, with the overall market jumping from a couple $100, basically going up 300% or within a year. So I'm not saying this could jump up 300% in a year, but I think this could definitely rally back. I really missed the opportunity to buy it below the 200. There's just so many stocks that hit below the 200 on the weekly chart. It just was too many to follow. So that basically wraps up Thursday for me. Friday has only got one on my radar basically, and that's Schlumberger. So Schlumberger is the boys and girls who refine the gasoline, and I don't know how to make it any positive or optimistic note is that I don't know how they're gonna do well. Again, maybe they can pull something out of their booty, but I can't see anything positive coming from this, because oil has just been beaten up, and we're between the Russians and the Middle East just trying to put a lot of companies out of business here in the US by just pumping super cheap oil, and a lot of companies here in the US require $25 to $30 plus to be able to actually pump anything else. So there's so many people furloughed, so many people laid off within the oil fields, and Slumber's Day would be a direct impact to that. Would I short it? I don't know. Like, it's at its crazy lows here. We can kind of go here on the weekly chart. Like, I have it alert at $12.07 if it ever gets to that point. But even in 0809, like it only got down to 37. So give you that little comparison. In the overall .com bust, they got down to 18. We're well past that, basically at 16, getting down almost to 11. Almost through 11. I feel like this is the kind of a dying section of the market, the sense of just the oil refineries. They're still going to be around, but I think that they're just going to have to be running a lot more leaner. Would I be shorting it? I can't do it at these super lows. Yes, the buck stops at 0, but things could get relief from the government, so that could be a huge booster. And the thing is, you don't fight the Fed. So that being said, I wouldn't be touching this with a 10-foot pole, but I would be looking at it just to kind of get myself a better market understanding and segment within the oil fields. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if it showed the support. Again, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.